It's a battle of sluggers as Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees head to Canada to face Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and the Toronto Blue Jays for the first of four, with just 3 games separating them in the American League East. Who won round 1 on Monday? This is MLB Game Night.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Welcome into MLB Game Night. I am one of your hosts, JD Hafron from Locked On Cardinals. Jon Frisch, host of the Locked On Angels, also does that with his brother Mike. So if you don't follow him at Super Halo Bros, you should be doing it by now, but you can follow both of us on X. We got a big show tonight, a historic night in Boston as the Sox host the Reds. Bryce Harper returns for the Phillies against San Diego. And what are they putting in the water in Pittsburgh that has the Pirates going crazy offensively? We'll get to all of that. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. We're going to start in the AL East. Yankees at Blue Jays. It's probably the Blue Jays' most important series of the year as they sit just 3 back of the Yanks for first place in the AL East and open up a 4-game set on Monday in Toronto. It would be a tough task for the Jays as they sent Mad Max Scherzer to the mound in just his second start since returning from the IL. He's going up against the Yankees' tough left-hander, Carlos Rodon. We got Locked On Yankees postcast host Jane Bourbon with his thoughts on this titanic battle in the American League East.
First of 4 between the Yanks and the Blue Jays north of the border. The opener goes to Toronto. Final score 5-4. A huge reason why the Blue Jays were able to come from behind. 2 costly errors in a 4-run 6th inning. The Yanks get home runs from Jazz Chisholm, his 14th, Cody Bellinger, his 12th, but again, not enough. Interesting pitching matchup. Carlos Rodon and Max Scherzer, each going 5, each allowing 2 earned. Unfortunately for Rodon, he walked 3, only struck out 4. His season ERA still below 3. Again, 5-4 the final score. As for game 2 of this series, which is tomorrow, remember, it's Canada Day, 3 o'clock Eastern first pitch. Max Fried and Kevin Gossman. Again, 5-4 final score.
Now you hear Jay talking about the stats and stuff there with the starters, but 2 names that he did not bring up, 2 of the biggest names in the sport. John, you got Aaron Judge and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. who played in this game. And round 1 of this series went to Vladdy Jr., didn't it?
It absolutely did. Aaron Judge went 0 for 2 with 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. I believe one of those was intentional, if I recall correctly. But Vladdy Jr., 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs, including a go-ahead 2-run single that StatCast had at 115.7 miles per hour off the bat. He puts that puts it in the top 20 of the hardest hit balls so far in 2025. It's the second hardest hit ball by Vladdy this season. So if you thought that wasn't enough, listen to this: 120.4 miles per hour off the bat for Vladdy Jr. this season. So needless to say, he's hitting the ball hard, JD.
Yeah, he stung that one. You know what he should tell people is like, I just missed it. Actually, I caught it.
If I could have got all of that, that would have been great.
Yeah, caught it off the end of the bat. That's nothing. Max Scherzer, as Jay mentioned, 5 innings, 2 runs, 3 hits, 7 Ks. Didn't factor in the decision. Jeff Hoffman picks up his 19th save of the season, which is 3rd most in the AL. Significant because if you remember, Hoffman was struggling there for a little while. He was having some major issues, but has since then figured things out and pitching very, very well for Toronto. Blue Jays are now 2 games back of New York with this victory. There was some injury news before this game took place because there's a name that was missing from the lineup for Toronto. No Bo Bichette in this one, and he's been very good this season. Scratched before the game after he stepped on a baseball in pregame warmups and is listed as day-to-day.
Maybe don't go around telling
a lot of goofy injuries that happened in the game of baseball. Stepping on a ball during batting practice, not one that you really plan for.
I was going to say, maybe don't go around telling people that that's what happened. Come up with something cool, that you were doing.
I saved the puppy from drowning and
Right.
tweaked my knee. That's what I would say. Something like that. All right, John, pick your slugger. Here we go. Aaron Judge, 33 years old, including this year. Still's got 7 years, $280 million left on his deal. He'll get it until he's 40. Vladdy Jr., 26 years old, 14 years, $500 million. I do the math. That also goes to age 40. Which one are you taking if you got to pick one of them?
Oh man, I saw this ahead of time in our notes here, and I deliberated on this one for a while, but I got to go Vladdy Jr. because I'm a homer, dude. I got Vladdy Sr. as one of the greatest Angels of all time, the only Angel in the MLB Hall of Fame wearing an Angel cap. And so I really was hoping that they'd gun for him this offseason. I can dream, right? But the Blue Jays signed him to that big old extension, and he's 26 years old. Look, I know he's not going to put up the same kind of home run numbers or maybe even slug that Aaron Judge can, but he's consistent. His dad pretty much every season was a 300 hitter, and Vladdy is pretty close to that as well. I think he's sitting like 280 right now on the season. But JD, to get ages 27 through like 31 of Vladdy Jr., I think the best is yet to come when it comes to his career in Toronto. So I think I'm going to go with the youth, and I'm going to go with Vladdy Jr.
Okay. Well, there's really no wrong answer here.
It feels wrong. It feels wrong to say I'm not taking Aaron Judge.
Yeah. The thing is Aaron Judge, at that 33 age right now, where, when do things start to slide? Obviously, this year has not been a year that things are going in the wrong direction. So, two superstars that we're looking forward to watching for the next, 7 to 14 years. Moving on to the Reds at the Red Sox, Boston 41-44. Treading water in the American League East, while the Cincinnati Reds, they've actually been one of the better teams in the league in the month of June and had their top prospect, Chase Burns, back on the hill for his second start of his Major League Baseball career. Now, if you remember, in his first start last week, took on the Yankees in Cincinnati, went 5 innings. He struck out 8. Everybody was really excited about everything they saw. Monday would not go quite as well. Here's Jeff Carr from Locked On Reds with the scoop from Fenway.
There's an old saying that you win 50 and you lose 50, and it's those other 62 games that your season is made or broke. And it just felt like Monday night against the Red Sox was one of those 50 games you just lose if you're the Cincinnati Reds. What's up? This is Jeff Carr from the Locked On Reds podcast, and unfortunately that came on Chase Burns' second career start. We were all excited to see how he would follow up his opening act. He did so by getting clobbered, and to his credit, he actually put a double play ball perfectly in the clutches of Matt McLain, who then threw the ball into center field and didn't get any outs, and then everything came unraveled after that. But after that point, Chase Burns was throwing just absolute hanging sliders in the middle of the zone. He was laying fastballs right out over the heart of the plate so they could get clobbered, and at that point, the Red Sox took the lead for good. The Reds tried to come back. They scored 6 runs in this. They gave up 13 total runs as they weren't done allowing a lot of runs for the Red Sox lineup in this one. Hopefully they can get right on Tuesday night.
All right. There was some talk, actually, after Burns was taken out of the game that perhaps he might have been tipping pitches, actually. There's some footage of Jarren Duran whispering things to his teammates, which, that happens all the time, but it just kind of got the rumor mill going that maybe he had picked up on something and passed it along because they were shelling him. But as Jeff said, he was leaving a lot of stuff over the heart of the plate. You can get away with that at AA and AAA. You get to the show, and those guys are going to smash it. Either way, not good for Burns, who gets just 1 out and allows 7 runs, 5 of them earned on 5 hits, one of those being a home run to Trevor Story. Let's hear from the winning side as Gabby of Locked On Red Sox has the details on the big Wilyer Abreu game. Historic.
Wilyer Abreu's offense back in the Red Sox lineup could be exactly what this team needs moving forward. I'm Gabby Maljanian from Locked On Red Sox, where the Red Sox smoked the Reds tonight by the score of 13-6. And Wilyer Abreu had 2 home runs, one being an inside the park home run. So very big night for him. And he's been a key source of offense for the Red Sox a lot as of late. And he just came back from injury recently. And the Red Sox have been looking for some big bats to make big contributions in the lineup. And Wilyer and the offense he's been providing could be an absolute lifesaver for this Red Sox offense, in hopes that they turn things around ASAP to convince the front office that they should add to this team at the trade deadline. So hopefully having Abreu back, and hopefully at some point soon, Bregman back as well, that the Red Sox offense can be fueled by more power. Tune in to Locked On Red Sox on any podcast platform for more.
Now, Greg Crochet got the start for Boston in this one. And when you think, hey, 7-0 lead, everything's going to be fine with Crochet on the mound. 6 innings, 5 runs, 4 earned, 7 hits, gives up a home run, 9 Ks, solid for most, but kind of kept the Reds in the game longer than you thought they would be. But as she mentioned, the big game from Wilyer Abreu, became just the 6th player in MLB history to do the inside the park home run and a grand slam and do it in the same game. Last time it happened, and I know you remember this, John, you were there, 1958, Roger Maris doing it. Well. It was actually the first inside the park homer for a Boston player at Fenway since Jacoby Ellsbury. When's the last time you heard that name? Back on September 19, 2011. Against the Orioles. My question for you, John, which one would you rather have, the inside the Parker or the grand slam?
Oh, I'm taking the grand slam every day of the week. I'll take a granny over an inside the Parker. But my takeaway from this, JD, is Friedel falling down as he was chasing the ball.
Something about a sniper or something. I don't know why he fell, but he just went down and just crumbled.
Well, they soak the dirt at Fenway, and so I'm sure that had something to do with it. But tell me how this isn't Little League, because the definition of Little League is like kids falling down in the outfield. So if Friedel fell down, maybe he still had a chance to get to that ball if he hadn't have fallen. But look, Abreu even stood and watched that, and he thought it was out because he thought he got it. And that was impressive. Now, he's 56th percentile in sprint speed, so he had to get on his horse for that one. He's not the fastest cat in the alley, but the fact is he stood there, watched it, and still got home after all was said and done.
Yeah, hit in that weird corner in center field that
Blinkoed
way has, and hit the railing. But it was an awkward play, but an exciting one if you're a Boston fan.
Right.
Speaking of exciting, Bryce Harper made his return to the Phillies lineup on Monday as they host Manny Machado and the Padres. We'll let you know how that went down next on MLB Game Night. Today's show is being brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did my money go? Not as much as in there when I left it there last time I checked, because between dining out and online shopping and entertainment, very easy to lose track of your funds, and that's where Monarch Money comes in and helps you. They become your personal CFO, giving you the full visibility and control over your finances, and it's not just a budgeting app. Monarch Money is a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, your investments, and your spending, and you get to do it all in one place. No hopping around to different apps or anything. You just go to Monarch Money. That way you can stop managing your money and start building wealth. And money conversations with your partner, smooth as can be, smooth as a baby's butt. You can track shared and personal accounts together. You can set goals together, and you just stay on the same page. And the great part is you do it without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. John, let's go to Philly and get some cheesesteaks. That's where the Padres and Phillies are playing. Padres visiting Philly for a 3-game set. Philly saw the return of Bryce Harper from the injured list and been out for quite a while now, and you saw the Phillies struggle while he was missing. But here's Connor Thomas of Locked On Phillies to highlight who he sees as the real hero of this game.
Another nice win for the Phillies as they take game 1 against the Padres, and Zach Wheeler is unbelievable. He is just, I can't get over how awesome it is to watch him pitch every time he takes the mound. I'm Connor Thomas, your host of Locked On Phillies. He goes 8 innings, shutout ball, strikes out 10. The Phillies shut out the Padres in general. Tanner Banks working through a relatively easy ninth, but I mean, Wheeler was dominant. He said he wants to cut down on the walks after last start. Well, he walked nobody tonight. That dude should honestly start the All-Star game down in Atlanta. Hometown for him and everything. I know Paul Skeens is having a great year for the Pirates. I would take Zach Wheeler. That is a little biased. Castellanos goes yard. That was great to see. And the rest of the Phillies runs were kind of infield hit variety, but good base running out of them against the knuckleballer where you can take extra bases on Waldron. And Bryce Harper didn't have his biggest day at the dish, but he came back and he played. The Phillies are in a good spot right now. We'll talk more on tomorrow's episode of Locked On Phillies.
Yeah, most important thing is just having Bryce Harper in the lineup and in that dugout for the Phillies. He went 0 for 2, had a walk, but just his presence makes all the world of a difference for the Philadelphia Phillies. Meanwhile, the Padres 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position, held scoreless by Zach Wheeler for 8 innings. But Xander Bogaerts had a decent night, didn't he, John?
Yeah, 3 for 4. It's suddenly he's found it again in the month of June. So pop your Xannies, everybody, because Xander Bogaerts is back. He's got a 290 average in June, a OPS of 785, 9 doubles, 2 home runs, 9 RBIs, and a K percentage of just 12%. So maybe he's turned a corner on the season because it has not been kind to him so far. And when you've got guys like Fernando Tatis Jr. struggling, you've got to pick up your players. And so that's certainly what Xander has been able to do for the Padres.
Yeah, like watching them play this weekend when they were taking on the Reds, and Gavin Sheets is like their offense. And I'm like, what has happened to the Padres where it's Gavin Sheets they're relying on to be a big producer? That puts it's kind of a bad spot if you're San Diego. Speaking of bad spot, Cardinals had to go to Pittsburgh. That's a bad spot to be right now. And I'll tell you why. First off, you had 2 teams coming in who were very, very good this weekend. The Cardinals were coming off a sweep of the Cleveland Guardians. Pirates just swept the New York Mets. Both were impressive. Cardinals outscored the Guardians in their series 21-6, but the Pirates mauled the New York Mets, outscored them 30-4. So not even close at all. So could the Pirates continue their pilfering and plundering ways on Monday? We got Gary from Locked On Pirates, and he's as surprised as anyone at how things went down for Pittsburgh on Monday.
They did it again. 7-0. The Pirates defeat the St. Louis Cardinals to open the series against them at PNC Park here. Following up on what they just did to the New York Mets. Hey, this is Gary from Locked On Pirates. I'm going to repeat Locked On Pirates because as I continue, you're not going to believe this. But in these last 4 games, the Pirates have scored 37 runs and only allowed 4. No National League team has done that since 1906. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Crazy. This team hasn't hit all year. Baseball, man. I mean, lost in all of this. Andrew Heaney goes 5 2/3, no hit. Baseball. Finishes off the inning. Comes out and starts the 6th inning. Goes 2/3 there. 6 2/3 shutout innings for Andrew Heaney. Chase Sugar took it the rest of the way. The Pirates' formula's working. Line drive, hand it off to the next guy. Line drive, hand it off to the next guy. Nothing too serious about it. But here's a team that can't swing for the fences, finally not trying to. It almost looks like baseball. More on this tomorrow morning on Locked On Pirates.
Why is it always Andrew Heaney, JD? It's always him with this kind of stuff.
I don't know, man. It was as frustrating as I've been watching the Cardinals at the plate. They look lost. They absolutely look lost. And I'm going to give a little bit of credit to Andrew Heaney, but this is a guy who just got bludgeoned by the Tigers and the Brewers in his last 2 starts. And for him to come out and just dominate the Cardinals like this as a St. Louis fan, it's inexcusable.
This is what he always did as an Angel. He'd have these terrible starts, and then maybe every 3rd, 4th, 5th start, he'd be dominant. So that's been his entire career. I think he's gotten better since he was an Angel. But the fact is I'm so used to this from Andrew Heaney. He did it to the Angels earlier this season too. He made them look foolish when they came to Anaheim.
Yeah, it's frustrating to watch because, he doesn't throw hard, doesn't throw anything with any crazy drop or anything on it. It just, they couldn't figure it out. And then as far as like the Cardinals starting pitching in this one, back-to-back games where Eric Fetty got his head kicked in, lasted just 5 innings, allowed 7 runs on 10 hits. He's now 3-8. The ERA is creeping towards the 5 area. He's 0-4 in the month of June and hasn't won a game since he threw a complete game shutout against his former team, the Washington Nationals, back on May the 9th. So he's not doing the Cardinals any favors on helping them make the playoffs. And he's not building any trade value in case they wanted to sell him at the trade deadline. So it's just a bad spot for Fetty right now. And, oh, yay, Cardinals get Paul Skeens on the mound on Tuesday, although they've had some good success against them. But it'll be Skeens against Andre Palante for St. Louis on Tuesday. Coming up, the big dumper, I know you love that name, John, was at it again. Plus a wild one in Texas that had the Rangers going to extra innings again. This is MLB Game Night. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Now, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You're always online following the action anyway. Why not make it a little more thrilling? Why not? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game even if your favorite team isn't playing at the time. Now, I've been using FanDuel to track my favorite matchups for years now on the app. My favorite thing about the app is the fact that it keeps it fresh. They give you new daily promotions and fun ways to bet. That way I don't feel like I'm just going through the motions and I'm just doing the same thing over and over and over. It actually makes it fun. Very easy to use app. They're fast to pay out. So when you win, you get paid, and it makes even regular season games feel like must-watch events. So whether I'm placing a same game parlay on something or watching my bet right into the ninth inning, FanDuel is going to make it feel like you're part of the action, just like it does for me. And if you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today, or you can visit them at FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. All right, let's go to Seattle. Royals, Mariners. The Royals were able to snap a 6-game losing streak against the Dodgers over the weekend, but that was the only win they would get. Royals have really been struggling, specifically at home. And meanwhile, the Mariners took 2 out of 3 from the Rangers. Both teams have some solid starting pitching, but it was the Mariners offense that would put them over the Royals in this one. We got Jack Johnson, who's got the details on how this one went south for Kansas City.
More of the same from the Royals tonight as they drop Game 1 in Seattle 6-2. I'm the host of Locked On Royals, Jack Johnson, giving you a few takeaways from tonight's game. As we've said so often in doing these shorts and doing this podcast, you're just waiting for the floodgates to bust open with the way this offense has been playing. And tonight, the Royals got out in front early, 1-0, a nice little 2-out rally, but that was the last time anything positive came out of this game. Michael Wacha was sharp for about 3 2/3, and then the 5th inning is when things spiraled out of control. And unfortunately, so many of the starters in this rotation have to pitch with that type of pressure. They have to be perfect. They have to hold the opposing offense to 1 run or no runs, and Michael Wacha just didn't have it tonight. Randy Arozarena certainly did with 2 home runs, and he also drove in 4 total in this game. So game 1 of a 7-game road trip, the Royals are 0-1 and now 7 games under 500. They'll look to even up the series tomorrow with Michael Lorenzen, who will take the ball.
I mentioned Randy Arozarena with the 2 dingers. That's home run number 100 in his career. And then there's Cal Raleigh. Stop us if you've heard this one before. Guess what? Hit another home run. It's his 33rd of the season. Haven't even gotten to July yet. Although if you're on the East Coast, yes, it is July. But not too shabby for a switch hitting backstop. 21 homers from the left side, 12 from the right side. He won a platinum glove last year, John. He's mashing dingers at an incredible pace. Is there an argument that he isn't the best catcher in baseball at this point?
Yeah, you're getting that kind of production from him on both sides of the plate, and he's a catcher. Like, that's the reason why, I'm a generational Mariners hater. I have to be. I'm an Angels fan. However, I took him early in fantasy because I'm getting those home runs from the catcher position right now. That's going to help anybody on the rest of my team who's struggling. So for him to have 33 before the calendar turn is just absolutely insane. And I'm looking at some of the stats here. He's let's see, 7th in catcher framing runs according to StatCast with a +3. So he's getting strikes for his pitchers. That's a huge part of the game that, we get mad at the umpires. We yell at them for getting a call wrong. But if you're a catcher who can sneak one in and steal a strike for your guy, that's just going to make your rotation all the more better. And that Mariners rotation is pretty darn good already without the help of Cal Raleigh. So he's doing everything back there right now.
His 33 home runs in second place is your boy, Logan O'Hoppe. with 17 on the season. Ribbies-wise, 71. Next best is Hunter Goodman at 48. Like, he's just destroying everybody in the catching position. So just incredible stuff that you're seeing out of him right now. John, why don't you take us to the Orioles and Rangers so that we can enjoy some extra innings again with Texas?
Again, let's fly down to Globe Life Field. We've got two teams. They haven't quite measured up to their expectations this season, the Rangers and the Orioles. But the Orioles are coming off a series win against your second favorite team, the Rays, JD, over the weekend. Yep. Texas dropped 2 of 3 to those Mariners over the weekend, and all 3 of those games went to extra innings, by the way. And because it's MLB game night and because JD and I are hosting, why wouldn't the Rangers make it 4 extra inning games in a row? So that's what happened here. A 3-3 tie goes to the 10th inning where the Orioles put up 3 in their half. So it's 6-3, but with 2 on and 1 out, Adolis Garcia hits the most epic 3-run home run that you'll see all season to tie it up 6-6. One of the best home run celebrations that you'll see all season as well. And then I get a notification on my phone, final score, Orioles 10, Rangers 6. And I went, what happened? Because I had just seen the home run. The Orioles get 4 in the top of the 11th. The Rangers just couldn't answer back. This one got weird, JD, and I kind of love it. The Rangers lost their DH when Kyle Higashioka walked. He got pinch ran for. So then Jonah Heim went from the DH to the catcher position. That ended up giving Jack Leiter, starting pitcher, an at-bat. And so my thought there was, well, you know what? Maybe he got the AB since, maybe he did some hitting in college. I know he was a pitcher, but maybe, those guys swing it sometimes. But no, Baseball Reference says that he doesn't have any plate appearances for Vandy in his time there. So needless to say, he struck out swinging. But it was still cool to see a pitcher taking at bat because it's been a long time since we've got to see that, except for Ohtani, of course. But it's been a long time since we've got to see a pitcher taking at bat like that.
Yeah, and I think some of the pitchers miss it, but I would say the majority, 98.9% probably are glad they don't have to go up there and see guys like Ben Joyce from your Angels throwing 103 right past them. Like they're good being on the other side of things.
Right.
Let's go to Arizona, where the Diamondbacks have been riddled by injuries all season and had a 4-game losing streak coming into this one after getting swept by the Marlins. San Francisco Giants visiting them in the desert, and they were 1-5 last week against the Marlins and the White Sox, teams that most people would consider teams you should beat, and are now just 4-8 since acquiring Rafael Devers. Logan Webb, Ryan Nelson, that was your pitching matchup, and it was actually Ryan Nelson who ended up having the better night. He had a shutout actually going into the 7th inning before getting pulled with 2 on and 2 out, and I know Arizona fans were losing their minds. They're like, I cannot believe you're taking him out right now. Problem is, they explained it afterwards, is that pitch count was the issue. It had nothing to do with them not trusting Nelson to get out of it himself, but it was at a pitch count. They're being careful with them. And so, of course, the first pitch the reliever throws gets tattooed by Tyler Fitzgerald. He drills it into right center for a 2-run double, and the game is tied. Nelson loses the win. Geraldo Perdomo will put them back on top with an RBI single in the 7th inning. And then at the top of the 8th, there was an interesting umpire review, John. Yeah. The Giants' Christian Koss hits one to deep left center, and a Diamondbacks fan, I'm assuming he was a Diamondbacks fan, he had a Diamondback shirt on, and he had his glove. First off, he was an older gentleman with a glove, which I kind of frown upon. I feel like if you're over the age of, say, 25, you shouldn't have a glove anymore. Anyway, reaches over, catches the ball in the same vicinity of where the left fielder was leaping to try to make the catch. At first, they actually ruled him out, even though the fan caught it. He's in the stands. He's got the ball. And actually had one in his other hand, too. So, first off, he's selfish. Right. Second, they rule him out, and because of the fan interference, they go to review it. They change it. They reverse it. They give Koss a double. But instead of tying the game at 3, it's a 3-2 game. Then Devers and Ramos end up striking out, and the inning is over. Threat's done. Eugenio Suarez pops another home run in the 8th, his 26th of the year. Shelby Miller gets the 4-out save. Snakes win it by a score of 4-2. Ryan Nelson, very good. 6 2/3, 2 runs, 5 hits, 7 Ks. Does not get a decision. Logan Webb gets the loss, falls to 7-6. His first loss in the month of June. Your thoughts on the Giants' struggles despite adding one of the best hitters in baseball to their lineup?
Yeah, I can't understand what's going on, because it seems like they're in all of these games, but it's stuff like this with the double off the wall that, maybe should have been a home run, or maybe should have been awarded another base, but at the end of the day, it just only brings in the one run. So I don't know. It just seems like everything is just a little bit unlucky for them right now, and especially when you have that kind of power in the lineup with Devers and Ramos and those guys, and so. All that to say, I think the Giants are going to be fine. The Diamondbacks really needed this win, especially after the week that they had. So I think it's just going to take some time to gel. And look, we've got a trade deadline in about a month here, JD. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the Giants making some moves.
Yeah, they might even add more than what Rafael Devers has brought them so far.
Yeah.
All right, wrapping up things. We got the A's at my Rays. John, what went down in Florida?
We got two vagabond teams, JD, one by choice and the other one due to Mother Nature's choice. And so they actually met at George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, actually Tampa, not St. Pete, where the A's meet the Rays. The A's get Shea Langeliers back off the IL. And you know what he does in his first plate appearance is smack a 3-run home run in the top of the first. The Rays actually battled back, ended up being a tie game at 4 in the 4th inning. Junior Caminero hit a home run in this one, a 2-run shot. Jonathan Aranda drives in a run. Jose Caballero reaches on a bunt single, drives in Jake Mangum. And so then it comes down to the 9th inning. Peter Fairbanks, you feel good about him on the mound if you're a Rays fan, hopes to take the game into the bottom of the 9th as a tie game, but Lawrence Butler with a 2-run triple puts the A's up 6-4. Sean Newcomb, former Angels #1 draft pick, by the way, shuts it down for the save, so the A's sneak one out at the very end of the game, 6-4, thanks to that Lawrence Butler triple.
Yeah, all right. Well, the Rays struggling a little bit in the last few games.
A little bit, yeah.
They're a little bump in the road right now, but certainly a team that it is along with the Toronto Blue Jays. They're threatening in the American League East. They are right on the heels of the Yankees as we move closer and closer to the All-Star break. Well, we want to thank you guys for joining us for this episode. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We do hope you come back and visit us next time on MLB Game Night, every game, every night.